I want to go back to the point that you'd reached before, because the issue you'd raised was the issue of trade-offs. What sort of trade-off decisions does Australia have to take if it's to successfully integrate with Asia and socialise ourselves into Asia, which is the white paper vision? And I'm talking here not just in strategic terms, I'm talking in cultural terms. What do we have to leave behind from the Australian past? What is there from the past that needs to be shunted aside and forgotten as we moved on? Now, of course, the great example of this was our racially discriminatory immigration policy, of course, which has been abandoned. But when you look at what else we need to abandon in terms of this cultural adjustment, what is it? Because I think this is a very important issue as far as the Australian people are concerned. And what are the new things we have to incorporate into our culture in order to succeed?
I think it's a, if I may say so, a brilliant question, Paul. Perhaps I can answer it this way. When you talk about cultural change, I look at not so much as what you leave behind, but what you emphasise. It's actually a positive engagement, not a negative engagement. It's not a matter of looking at who we are and saying there's so much of us which is bad. It's looking at saying, well, for what we need to confront of the future, what aspects of our culture do we need to emphasise? I think people in business would often pronounce that one thing's for sure, culture eats strategy. So understanding that and emphasising the aspects of the culture which will be as positive and conducive to success of the Asian century is something we must do. And of course that for me is about the openness of the economy. The openness of the economy and the willingness to engage and to connect. It's actually a very important issue for me. The argument which is often thought to have been won and settled and from which we move on is a constant support for the open economy in Australia. I actually don't believe that argument is won and settled. I think that is an argument that needs to be constantly run. I do think in 25, 40 years, we will look back and see a mix of the culture where the cultural default, if I put it this way, is no longer the Anglosphere, but will actually be a kind of more of a hybrid. It's not Australia is an Asian nation. It is that Australia has changed and there's aspects of the culture which are much more emphasised now. And actually you'll see a lot more interplay, I think, between the various economies in the region. But Australia needs to be open to that. We also need to be open to the danger of anachronistic thinking about the region. We need to also be very contemporaneous. We need to allow ourselves to learn from the ideas and innovations that are generated from within the region itself and respect those. It's actually being contemporaneous in our thinking and actually opening ourselves up further.
Okay.